Welcome everyone to our April 1st, 2025 Midvale City Council meeting. As I explained in the workshop, today being April Fool's Day, kind of believe about half of what we say up here. Some of it might be an April Fool's joke, we never know. And in the back we have our own April, Chief April Morse. This is her day, her month, and her year, like the Friends theme song would suggest. As we often do, we're going to start with a Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'll stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. And Rory, will you see who's here?
Yes, Councilmember Robinson. Here. Mikulash. Here. Brown.
Here.
Billings. Here. And Glover.
Here.
Okay, that's all of us. Before we get into the Unified Police Report, I wanted to just mention for those of you who don't know, on March 22nd, we had a 16-year-old Hillcrest High School student who was killed in a car accident. And every kid who's killed, obviously very tragic. This happened to be a high school student who was very involved in the Midvale community, and we thought that we would start today's meeting by just doing a 15-second moment of silence. So if you would join me in that. Thank you so much. So we are going to honor the student Elijah Bustamante Martinez, working out details to get his family here at our next council meeting, where we can just do whatever we can to show our appreciation for what Elijah was attempting to accomplish in the community and among his peers at Hillcrest High School. So they're in our thoughts and prayers. So moving on, sorry you have to follow that, Chief Morse, but our Unified Police Department report. Chief Morse.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Unified Police Department had to investigate a fatal car accident that occurred in March. So that case is still active, still under investigation. However, there have been shockwaves through the community from that. Our Hillcrest High School school resource officer was actually very quickly on scene and made the initial identification of Elijah. There's a lot of hurt folks right now. We're still working with the high school, still working with Canyon School District, doing what we can to support those students and those affected, as well as our own officers. They're not easy investigations to do. Like I said, it's still active. I know the investigator is preparing to screen it with the district attorney's office, so we'll see what the results are coming from that. But on a lighter note, I thought it would be nice to introduce something different. I tell you a lot of stats and citations and arrests and seizures. Something different, UPD hosts a Kids and Cops art competition. So we have teamed with Sorensen Legacy Foundation. We apply for a grant every year. So basically the schools that Unified Police Department serves, from elementary all the way through high school. It's an art competition where they can sketch, paint, computer graphic, whatever. Anti-violence, cops in my community, anti-drug use, anti-bullying, those are the topics we want to see a picture of. So there are the 6 first place winners get an iPad. The 6 second place winners get an iPhone. 6 third place winners get earbuds. And then the kid that wins, we get a whole grundle of pizza, and we go to their class and we give them a pizza party during school hours. So it's a great chance for us to interact with the kids in our community, and it's something that we enjoy doing very much. So that is happening. It started in March. The submissions are due the 11th of April, and we're looking forward to going out and visiting those students. And yes, Midvale often wins this competition. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions for the chief?
Thank you.
City manager?
Just a comment on
Okay. Next up on the agenda, we have a proclamation declaring June 2025 as Pride Month. This is an issue, some might look at that and wonder why. It's April 1st. Why are we declaring June 2025 as Pride Month? And not to get too political, I promised I wouldn't. So we'll just say that we members of the council and the mayor, felt that it was important to do it now while we still can and have that ability. We don't know what the legislature has in store for this particular issue, and we want to make sure that June 2025 does not get forgotten as far as Pride Month goes. And I do see we have a legislator in the audience here who was, in my opinion, on the good side of the bill that was passed. But anyway, so Midvale City proclamation proclaiming June 2025 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Whereas the June 1969 riots at the Stonewall Inn in New York City precipitated the modern fight for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and other identities, LGBTQ plus rights. And whereas on June 11th, 1999, President Clinton issued a proclamation designating June as Gay and Lesbian Pride Month. And in June 2009, President Obama expanded it to Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month. And whereas the LGBTQ plus community contributes immensely to our society in areas of science, education, religion, government, and sports, and whereas LGBTQ plus residents and employees have made and continue to make important and lasting contributions to Midvale City and the state of Utah, and whereas Midvale City has demonstrated a long-standing commitment to diversity and inclusivity by promoting principles of fairness and justice for all residents and employees regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, and whereas celebrating LGBTQ plus Pride Month provides awareness of and advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community, and it is an opportunity to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equitable rights. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that Mayor Dustin Gettle and the Midvale City Council hereby proclaim June 2025 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Midvale City. That is adopted this first day of April 2025, signed by me, Mayor Gettle, and all 5 members of the City Council. And I thank all 5 members of the City Council for their support on this issue. Thank you. Moving on to public comments. If there's any person wishing to give public comment on any item not otherwise, oh, sorry, thank you. Skipping over, sorry, Carrie, we have the esteemed Salt Lake Animal Services Board to give us our 2024 annual update. And Carrie, it's so nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. I'm Carrie Cyber. I'm with Salt Lake County Animal Services, and I'll be going over your 2024 annual report. And I believe we had it pulled up for a second. Do I move the page or do you? Okay. All right. So just to go over some highlights that we had in 2024, our animal control officers responded to over 17,000 calls for service in the community from Midvale, as well as all of our other jurisdictions that we serve. Our volunteers, we have a huge amount of volunteer help that helps us in the shelter, out in the community. They provided over 7,500 hours helping our pets in the shelter. We had over 2,800 pets that were adopted or sent to rescue organizations as we strive to be no-kill, which we have been able to maintain for over 10 years now. And our in-house shelter clinic was able to sterilize over 4,200 pets. Some of our intake statistics, this is a summary of all of our jurisdictions. We took in just over 6,800 animals, a variety of them, mostly dogs and cats, but we do get in some random ones, which you'll see a little later. We did have, as you can see, over 2,400 adoptions, redemptions, and whether it be at the shelter or in the field, we had just over 3,200, and we outcomed just over 6,800 animals out of the shelter. Our live release rate for last year was 95%, meaning 95% of the animals left in a positive manner. We had 749 of those were rescued, and we sent over 1,300 into foster homes to get them out of the shelter environment while they seek permanent residence somewhere else. For Midvale specific, this is a breakdown of the types of animals that we brought in. As you saw, mostly dogs and cats, but we do get in some random ones. We have amphibians, reptiles, birds. We've had crab and fish before, insects, all sorts. So we're one of the few that are able to take in a wide variety of animals. If you break it down by the type or the fashion that they came in, most of them came in through our officers out in the field, but we do have them come in over the counter at our shelter. We'll have some, if they were adopted out, maybe they might not work out, we will take the animals back to find them a more suitable condition. And it was about 525 animals that we brought in. A breakdown of the field statistics. Our most popular calls is animal impound, where the animal is already confined and we just have our officers go pick it up. Animal at large, where obviously they're running out in the public. Citizen inquiry, this is a variety of questions, follow-ups on cases. And we did just over 1,100 calls for service. Apologize for that. Licenses, we sold 718 licenses, most of those being just a regular annual license, and about 194 of those were sold to seniors. The Urban Wildlife Program, now this program is ran by the USDA, so these stats are from them. So they assisted Midvale residents with 5 raccoons. So far no skunks for last year, but they did have phone consultations where it's just answering random questions or education to 19 residents. And last year we had our annual Petapalooza adoption event. This is our largest adoption event that we host every year. We're always trying to make it bigger and better each year. This year we may even have it run for 2 days instead of 1 day. But last year we had hundreds of adoptable animals, and this is from not just us but also other local animal control agencies and rescue groups. And we had a wide variety of vendors, including Pet Psychic, photo booth, we had food trucks, live entertainment. We even had a booth that was tattoos for pets, where they just paint them on, of course. But we were able to find 177 animals, new homes. Again, this year we're hoping to make it even bigger and better. So potentially even 2 days worth, so hopefully we can find even more animals' homes. And this is our new program, the PAWS Mobile Service Clinic. So this service clinic is funded by the County Council, and it is a county-wide program. It launched officially in October of last year. And this provides free spay and neuter services, vaccinations, and microchips to residents across the county. Our goal is to visit each city at least twice over the course of the year. At the end of 2024, we did 184 spays and neuters. As of yesterday, we did about 375 so far. And we have a whole slew of clinics scheduled for the rest of the year. Most of them are actually almost fully booked. We have them fully booked clear till August at this point. We're hoping to add some more clinics to finish out the rest of 2025, and we are definitely hopeful that the council will fund it for future years. And so I will definitely be in touch with you once we're able to get more scheduled. And if anybody is interested in signing up for this, they can email us at paws@saltlakecounty.gov to get more information and to sign up for an appointment. And then some upcoming events. Obviously, the March one has already passed for our Feline Fix. This does run every single month, so it is a reoccurring event. But upcoming later this month is one of our fun ones, Tats for Cats. This is at Fallen Angel Tattoo. Usually they have a line clear around the block, but they provide little tattoos for everybody, actual tattoos, and the funds raised for the program, a portion of it goes back into the shelter. So it is a huge, fun event that grows every single year. So if you guys are looking to get a little tattoo, mainly animal themed, of course, be sure to join us at Fallen Angel Tattoo. And that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Carrie? Well, I will just say, on behalf of the council, I believe we appreciate everything that County Animal Services does. And I will say that one of the 2,800 adoptions in 2024
Yes.
was my little Nova, who came from the shelter where I was happy she was so that I could get her, but she did not belong there. And she has become like a treasured family member. And I just recommend anyone who's even thinking possibly about getting an animal, go to the county animal shelter first, because you can find the love of your life there, as I have with Nova and so many other folks. who come in.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. And if you're not ready to adopt, we will always take a foster. It's temporary.
That's how
Unless
they
you
get you.
decide to adopt, but
That's how they get you.
yes, that's how I got all
If
mine.
you foster,
yes.
you're going to keep the dog. And
Yes.
So,
But, if you're able to provide temporary, we're always
Yes.
taking that as well.
but thank you again
Thank
for all
you
you
so
do. I
much.
think the mobile clinic has been a smashing success. So
Huge amount of
they sell out
positive.
before, not even sell out. It's a free service, but yes, they're low cost. So thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Okay, we will move on for real this time. To public comments, any person wishing to comment on any item not otherwise scheduled for a public hearing on the agenda may address the city council at this time. You'll be limited to 3 minutes. If there's anyone from the public who would like to address the council, step on up. We're friendly. And if you would, state your name and address for the record.
Andrew Stoddard. Address is 218 East, 8135 South. Proud Midvale resident. Lived in the city for 15 years now, which is a long time. I have the pleasure of representing Midvale as one of the cities in the state legislature and have done so since 2019. Every year it gets a little harder because of the bills that we run and we pass. And I say we collectively, even though I do my best to fight them. And one of the issues that has come up every single year is the erasure and the limiting of rights for our LGBTQ plus population. And it's really hard to live through this every day. And I say this as a cis hetero man, as someone not in that population, but I see the effect that it has on those that I care about. And so I just want to come and applaud all of you for taking a step that I see is largely important for this city and for its constituents. And so thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here, providing the service, and for being advocates for all those who live in the city.
Thank you, Representative, and we appreciate the work you do on behalf of Midvale in the state legislature.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members and administration. It's good to be with you. My name is Levi Ernest, and I'm the property manager and a part owner of A Family LLC. We've developed some property just off of Catalpa Street and Millennial Street. Right on the corner, it's down from the McDonald's and across from the Park and Ride, just so you know where I'm talking about. With me is Danny Doan. She's the manager of Aries Aerial Arts, and they're our very first tenant in our new commercial buildings. And so they're just doing a great job, and Danny's going to talk to you in a second. But just from our point of view as the property owners, I just wanted to thank the city of Midvale and some of the council members, and especially the police force, that have done a good job in amping up or ramping up the number of patrol units around, but we need more help. We still are having drug deals happening right out the door, and homeless people sleeping behind the buildings. And the Econo Lodge, the Motel 6 across the street, is just an absolute horrendous situation. And so we come asking for help. There's been talk of some grant money in the past due to the shelter over across the freeway. which we'd really like to put up surveillance cameras and some floodlighting and some things like that. There's also a strip of land that UDOT, as we've been in conversations with them, they've said that they would donate that land to Midvale City, and we might look at redeveloping that parking across there for the excessive parking from the Moda Union townhomes, which, you know, they passed their permit, they passed their inspections, they did all the things, but the number of cars is overwhelming. We are grateful for the no overnight parking signs on the south side of that street, and so that's been a great improvement and really helped out what Danny is doing and what they're going to talk to you about. But we're just here to, you know, just share our appreciation, but ask for a little bit more help from you as we're putting in brand new tenants and attracting people. We're about to sign a lease, an 8-year lease, with a company coming from Colorado, and he's relocating his family, and they're really going to put in a neat program for a ski school for kids. And so in what Danny's doing, they're working with kids and families, and she's going to talk to you about that. But really just here to ask for your help from our side, and Danny's going to speak to it. But just, you know, as we continue to, you know, revitalize the neighborhood. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
My name is Danny, like you said, and I'm the manager of Aries Aerial Arts, and the owner wanted me to read a letter since she could not be here today. It says, "Hello and good evening. I wish I could be there tonight, but I have a previous commitment to the youth I serve within my church. My name is Darla Day, and my husband Nick Day and I own Aries Aerial Arts, an aerial training studio for children. We just moved to the new building on 375 Millennium Way in Midvale, thanks to the efforts of the Ernest family. We have been in business for 13 years, and also run the nonprofit 90 and 9, which brings the show Fighter to the Capitol Theater every August, and was founded for the purpose and prevention in mental health crisis and a way to promote healthy living through the arts. 90 and 9 also operates out of this location. I first want to thank Sheriff Trina for helping keep us safe and helping us feel safe, as well as the local police department and city for responding to us quickly when we need them. The area we have moved into has raised some concerns for us and our parents. Here's just one example. This is an email we got last week. I am very happy with my girls coming to Aries Silks and what they're learning. They come home very excited after most classes. However, it is in a very dangerous location. My girls have expressed to me that they often feel unsafe here. Yesterday, I noticed prostitutes walking around the hotel. The day before that, there were arrests directly out front of the studio. With the armed police and SWAT there last month, at this point, I'm very upset that this is the location where my children are. I'm hoping that you're able to break the lease or do something different, as this is risking safety for mine and other children. We, along with parents and kids, have witnessed through our business windows during the operation the SWAT team, with rifles and several vehicles, corner a criminal in the Motel 6 across the street, homeless sleeping in our parking lot while our young coaches come early and alone to prepare for classes, along with discomfort from parents while their little ones walk to the parking lot at night. We are here to ask the city's help in ensuring the safety of these children, as well as beautifying the area to create a more family-friendly environment. As of right now, we have made our own pickup and drop-off line in front of the building so the children don't have to walk alone to the parking lot or across the street to get to their parents' vehicles. We would love for the city to make this a permanent drop-off pickup only designated area for us, even if it's only from 3 to 8 on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturdays. I have personally witnessed parents beckoning their children to cross the street to get into a vehicle and nearly be hit by oncoming traffic. Between those incidents and the environment of the area, we took it upon ourselves to start the drop-off pickup line so children are safely getting to their cars. It also helps keeping the flow of traffic for those driving on that street, as parents are out of the road while waiting for their student. We also would love to invite you to consider efforts in getting rid of the Motel 6. It invites criminals, drug swaps, and in turn brings in the homeless as well as other characters that we don't want the children around. It is one of the hottest spots for drug deals. With these new buildings the Ernest family has built, we can invite a new crowd to Midvale. We have parents that want to shop, eat, and have something to do during their kids' classes, and there's an opportunity for beauty from ashes and growth for this area. We want to help in any way we can. We are patient and aware of all that is involved in these requests. We thank you so much for your time and support, and efforts to make Midvale beautiful, safe, and growing. We care about this business and how it has been a safe space for these kids emotionally as well as physically through the years. It has even been the means of saving some children's lives through their mental struggles throughout the years. Aries is so much more than a place of business. It is a home for so many, and we ask for your help and guidance. Sincerely, Darla. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for bringing these issues to our attention. I know, from the council's perspective, we've talked about, what we can do in the 7200 corridor for a long time. I know I've mentioned many times, like, why can't we just close down the Motel 6? And you think it would be as easy as that, but it's very, very difficult to take away someone's business license. But I think we do have some resources here at the city. I think we might be able to talk to you guys about some grant money that we have been offering to businesses who've been impacted by these types of activities. So I think we could probably have someone reach out to you guys and make sure that we get that shored up.
Thank you.
I think our councilman, don't you have a daughter that goes to Aries?
Yeah, she loves it. She goes twice a week, and I will say I have concerns. I've been pushing on it. A few thoughts for you guys. Probably the quickest and best way is, I don't know how to say this nicely, so I don't think I will say this nicely, is we need to vote in different legislators that will allow us to shut down properties that are that bad, okay? Our wonderful representative today would probably agree with that. So that's something to keep in mind long term, right? They believe that the property rights there outweigh the substantial cost of the city on sending cops and dealing with public health hazards there, and they don't care. I do also think there's a little bit of a two-way street here where we really need to coach the parents on pickups and drop-offs. It seems like there's a lot of parents that only think about themselves, and I get very frustrated with them as much as I am with the city, and maybe we should talk about that as well, because I think no matter what we do on the city side, if you have parents that are kind of selfish and just sort of loiter in those areas, you'll still have problems. You might not have as many safety concerns, but you'll still have some other issues. So I think there's just work to be done on both sides, and but yeah, my daughter envisions being in there until she dies. So wherever you guys are. So being as close as it is to my home, I appreciate you guys here.
Thank you.
We're grateful for any and all the help we can get, and we just want to do a great job as tenants and residents and owners and whatnot. So
I'm pretty sure we have your contact info. So
yeah, we met with Matt
Yeah.
and also Adam. And
I can get it too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
thank you.
you.
Appreciate y'all.
Any other public comments? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Hello, good evening. My name is Ari. I am here on behalf of Artisan Bloom, located at 7573 South on Main Street. I am their Assistant Operations Manager and Project Manager, and I am here to advocate on behalf of Artisan Bloom for the undisrupted access to our building 24/7, namely on weekends that include Main Street road closures, namely Mural Fest, the car show, and what could potentially be Oktoberfest at the end of September. Historically, we have worked with Cody Hill, which we are happy to continue to do, but unfortunately the solutions brought forth by Midvale City have not worked with our particular business model. So my operations team has drafted a proposal for the city on road closure access that would work very well with our building location, and I would just love to be directed to somebody who could facilitate the guarantee of access to that building with the help of Cody. I'm happy to further elaborate on what the proposal entails if that's necessary for the council, but if not, I would just love to be connected with somebody who could help facilitate our proposal and make sure that we can have access to that.
I guess I do have a general question.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we close off Main Street, we do leave like Rio Grande behind and the avenues
Correct.
open so that you can access the avenues. So how is it preventing you from getting into
So
your
with
location?
our primary, we have moved 70% of our operations off of Main Street, so we have lightened up as much as we can. The main issue we're facing this year is our ability to get box trucks and reefer trucks down the avenues. So if we can guarantee that 6th Avenue, Rio Grande, and 4th Avenue does not allow patrons to park on just one side, we're in the clear. That would be our general requirement. So access to 6th Avenue, Rio Grande, and 4th Avenue, and then just the ability to fit a vehicle that is about 10 to 12 feet wide.
Adam, when they are done, will you go out and make sure that we have their information with regards to their parking issue?
Great.
And Cody's no longer with us
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
He took another job.
He took another job.
Wow. That was the most mad thing
He's still
ever.
with us.
He didn't take care of your problem.
Excellent. Okay, no more Cody. Thank God I came. I would have been emailing him and just been so mad that he was not responding. Okay, perfect. So you said it was, who was I looking for afterwards? Adam Olson. Okay, thank you very much. Adam Olson, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, it's the cool thing to do. You sure? No one else? Okay. We will close public comment, and I believe we have a council member who has to leave in about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead. We'll go through council reports. Councilmember Bonnie Billings.
Yeah, I just wanted to also express my sadness about the loss of Elijah Bustamante Martinez in our community. I just want to make sure we're definitely sending that love to his family and loved ones tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember. And Councilmember Paul Glover.
I would echo what Bonnie just said. It's sad for us to lose anybody, but especially those that are in school and so young. The other thing I have, I just want to give a shout out to the fire department. I actually had a fire at my house this afternoon, and so my hot water heater started on fire. So happens that it's a duplex, and I was next door, and my granddaughter called and said that we have a fire in our house. And so happened to be able to get it out before the fire got there, but they got there a few minutes after I got it out. So appreciate their swift response. They were professional and come and check to make sure I'd got it out right. We thank them for all they do. That's about it tonight.
Thank you, and we're glad that you're safe.
You too.
Councilmember Glover, I
I could
know.
have been homeless tonight.
I know it unlocked a new homeowner fear of mine. I didn't know that you shouldn't put things on top of your hot water heater, but lesson learned.
That was my son, not myself.
So, public service announcement, don't put anything on top of your hot water heater. But thank you, Councilmember. And moving on to Councilmember Heidi Robinson.
I too just wanted to echo my sympathy for the both students at Hillcrest that have experienced quite a serious tragedy. I also wanted to say that April 1st is Autism Awareness Month. So while we have managed to eliminate some things that we know cause autism, there's still a lot of work to be done. This is a great opportunity to support family, friends, or even organizations that help those with autism. So just a reminder that if you can, make some time to put some on your schedule and contact any of those resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. And moving on to Councilmember Bryant Brown.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to echo as well what was said about Eli, and that's a sad situation all around. And I just want to thank the mayor and Representative Stoddard for coming here to support the proclamation today. It's kind of a sad situation, sad state that we have to preemptively sort of think ahead for these things now. When this is I think my 8th year. Is this our 8th year? Seventh, where we've had 3 different mayors and a host of different councils, and that's ranged the political spectrum. We've always been good about, showing our community, the LGBT community, plus all of the other ones that, they matter in Midvale, and it's unfortunate we have to think so far ahead with the state of the legislator trying to sort of muffle and control what people say and do, and so I'm glad the mayor thought about it, get it at least for 2025. Who knows if we can do it for 2026? Never thought I would say something like that, and I'm grateful that, I'll never have to explain to my daughters, why I did or didn't do this. So I'm glad we were able to at the moment. So thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Moving on to Councilmember Denise Mikuláš.
Wanted to say my deepest sympathies too, especially after the Canyons School District Foundation hosted us for their donation and their foundation evening. Seeing everything that's going on and how much they're trying to do with our students around the new Innovation Center and everything like that, to hear that had happened just kind of sunk in even more. So want to say thank you to them for hosting us, and also always attending the Planning Commission. Good to hear what's coming up in applications. And also want to say thank you to our representative, Dustin, the council, again, for what Councilmember Brown sent around the proclamation. I never thought we'd have to question it either. So I appreciate the support and support of all communities in our city. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. For my report, I'll be brief, about 10-15 minutes is all I need. I did fail to mention at our last council meeting, Letter West. I always want to say Letter Fest because one, I think it sounds better to say Letter Fest. But Letter West, one of those things, again, I never really understood the appeal just personally because it's lettering. And so I went to the conference and I was just blown away by what they do. The artistry, it was incredible. And I apologize to them 1,000 times for ever wondering what the heck is this about? Who cares? It's really, really interesting stuff. And we're really lucky that they chose Midvale for a 3-year pilot program, and hopefully we'll be able to renew that after. This is the second year, so we have one more year for sure next year. And the diverse group of people they brought along for that conference, which this year was the first year, it was 2 days, was incredible. I met people from Brazil, I think, and how did you even hear of this? And, it's such a tight-knit community of folks who are just super, super excited about this sort of thing, and it was, pretty eye-opening. So if you get a chance to go to any of the events next year, I do recommend it. I will say they were trying to get me to get a tattoo. I said no and held my ground on that one, which was difficult because there was a lot of peer pressure around the tattoo. Maybe next year. Also, I wanted to just mention I'm going to do a career day at Mid-Valley Elementary School on this Friday at 8 a.m. 9 a.m., sorry. So that's going to be fun. I normally with the kids, I do my shtick with Paw Patrol. There are 2 mayors in Paw Patrol, which these kids might understand, a good mayor and a bad mayor, and we'll see which these kids prefer. It's always interesting. Last but not least, last Thursday I went to Jordan Bluffs Park. I think that's what we're officially calling it, the one next to Zions Bank, and I just was going to play pickleball with a friend, and I thought, we'd just get in there, we'll play pickleball. That park, when I tell you, last Thursday at from 6 to 8 p.m. was packed with people utilizing every bit of that park. I had to wait 30 minutes for a pickleball court, which is a good problem to have. But people were playing basketball, pickleball, using the swings and jungle gym, and also the sand volleyball. Literally every part of that park was being utilized. And, as an elected official, we all up here have some part of that park being dedicated to the city, and it was, I won't say that I cried, but it was very nice to see that park being used by literally everyone. And again, such a diverse group of people who were up there playing. So I just wanted to thank those who had the foresight of putting that park in. It's very well received by the community. Other than that, I think I've talked enough for tonight, but we'll move on to our city manager report and city manager Matt Dahl.
Sure. 3 things this evening. The first one, Adam, will you discuss the changes to the development agreement process?
Please.
Yes, thank you. In your last couple of meetings, we've come before you a few times just to discuss the idea of development agreements with potential zone change applications that may be coming forward. We've decided to basically go back to the process that we were originally with, where zone change applications, if they're made, they will go through the regular process through Planning Commission and then come to you. And if it's something at that time that you feel is worthy of a development agreement, you can direct staff and the applicants to put that together. We just thought that's cleaner. It doesn't cause as much confusion in some instances, and so we'll just go continue on with that process. So if you have any questions, feel free to just reach out to me. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Any questions for Adam? Okay. Matt?
I think, one of the things that can be a challenge sometimes with government is this idea of experimenting, because I think sometimes when things don't go well, there could be a perception from members of the public and stuff that that's some sort of negative indication when really we're just trying something new. And anyways, in this particular case, we had this issue of trying to make it a more efficient process. We made an effort and very quickly realized, thanks to your input, just why that process wasn't what it needed to be. And so we're just changing that. And I think, I want to make sure that we're an organization that is willing to try new things and see what works. And if those pickles stick to the windows, no, that's not the right one. But if the process works, keeping it, and if it doesn't, then we just move on from it. So I think it was a good exercise, and I appreciate the work that Vendaline and Adam and others have put into, giving that a whirl. But I think it does make sense for us to go back to the process as it had been. So with that, next, excuse me, Aaron, will you come up and talk about the grant program?
Before Erin comes up, you can come up. I forgot, but also seeing her reminded me, we participated in the Utah Rivers Council Rain Barrel program, and she would have murdered me for not mentioning it because we talked about it 11 times. As of the last update, we had sold through the subsidized fee 26 of our 100 allotted rain barrels. I was the 26th. I also found out my HOA doesn't allow them. So we're gonna work on that. But we do have that information out on our social media. If you're interested in a subsidized rain barrel, they come to $61 with tax. So, Erin.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, good evening. Back in December, you approved the process of a reimbursement grant that we created for businesses with some of the mitigation funding that we get from the state. This was to help fix a gap that existed because businesses surrounding the shelter don't often have extra improvement costs that they incur trying to offset loitering, different types of behavior that's undesired or that harm their customer bases. And so we searched for something within the state, nothing existed, and we approached the state to pilot this program. Since December, when you approved it, we have a finalized grant agreement, and I started working with getting the businesses within the eligible geographic area, which is 1/2 mile radius from the shelter, getting as many of them to apply as possible. We had enough money for 10 grants, each 20 grand max. And as of today, last month we had 3 grants in progress. All of those are signed, and we have one of those starting to send me their reimbursements. I have another one who told me I should see reimbursements starting next week. And we have an additional one fully executed. We have 3 that are in the process with signing on DocuSign right now. We have one that went to legal review today where the application was fully approved, and now we need to enter it into DocuSign and get all necessary signatures, which adds us up to 9. So we have one more spot, and I have Landmark Grill who has applied for that. They are moving to where Sweet Hazel used to be. Landmark Grill, who is on the east side of Midvale, now will be at the Sweet Hazel location there on 72nd, right next to Midvale Mining. Most of these applications have been for security cameras, lighting, or fencing. And a handful of them have also asked for signs like no loitering, no panhandling. And so these, all of the businesses that we have last time, you were informed about McDonald's, Actionwood Furniture, and Jacket. We now have Jackson's Food Store, Joseph's Trucking, Staybridge Suites, Midvale Mining, and KT Custom Exterior Supply under contract, or in the process of being under contract. And then we have Sportsman's Warehouse that was approved yesterday, and the documentation went to legal today. And then Landmark Grill is in the process of having their application be complete and reviewed. Our goal here is to show the state that this is a worthwhile program, and to hopefully be able to ask for more of this type of program in the future so that we can continue to support our businesses, especially those who are impacted by undesired activity along the corridor. And hopefully next time I'll get to tell you about all of the money that we were able to get back to those businesses. Any questions, concerns, complaints, compliments?
Aaron,
Yes, sir.
I have talked to a couple of those businesses, and they are very thankful.
Yes, I have had a lot of businesses also thank the city council and the mayor and Midvale for being willing to find solutions that are a little out of the box, like creating this grant program. So thank you, council.
I would say it's without a doubt one of our most popular grant programs, and goes to good use. So thank you for the work you do on it.
Thank you.
City Manager Matt Dahl.
The last thing I have is that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here at City Hall, we will be having an open house for the community council as we are efforting to get that up and running again. The event is intended for us to both convey information about what a community council can be, but really it's more about getting feedback from people who are interested in the community council, what they think the community council should do, areas of focus, and other thoughts that they have about that, so we can use that to work with the residents in order to get that organization up and going again. So I'd encourage anyone who is interested to come tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. That is it for me this evening.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. We have one item, consider minutes of March 18, 2025. Is there a motion to approve those
Mayor,
minutes?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Billings.
Yes.
Glover.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Brown.
Yes.
Nicholas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that passes unanimously. We have two action items. The first, consider resolution number 2025 R15, authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Shums Coda Associates, SCA, for building services, plans, examination, building inspection, etc. Adam Olson.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a pretty exciting item for us, I feel. We just recently hired and brought on a building official, and so we're working to bring the building services back in-house. The building official started last week and has hit the ground running. As part of that, we would like to enter an agreement with SCA, or Shums Coda, for building services. Basically, what we would like them to do is anything that the building official, or we're currently also recruiting for a plans examiner and a building inspector, kind of one position covering both. But anything that they can't handle would be sent to Shums Coda, and then they would handle that for us. So again, this is part of bringing that back in-house. We're excited to move forward with them. We did send out an RFP in November, and they were the most comprehensive, and we feel that they'll best be able to help us in this endeavor. So with that, there's a recommended motion before you, or I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Adam? Okay, the motion is on the board for your consideration.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2025 R14, authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement with Shums Coda Associates for building services.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Glover.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Brown.
Yes.
Nicholas.
Yes.
And Billings.
Yes.
Okay, that passes unanimously. And I know Adam and his team are very excited about this one. He was not joking about that. So congrats. Action item B, consider resolution number 2025 R15, authorizing the mayor to sign a telecommunications franchise agreement with Zayo Group LLC. And this was Aubrey.
Good evening, everybody, council and mayor. These don't come around too often. Zayo Group is just asking for a new telecommunications services agreement. It's going to be fiber optics, and this gives them access to right-of-ways with the proper permitting through the engineering department. So city engineer and manager go through all of those right-of-way permit applications. The application for the franchise agreement met all the requirements within the code, and they did not request any changes to the standard agreement that we use. Any questions?
I do have a question about this generally. If there is, everything meets the codes and the standard and whatever, is there a way we can delegate this so it doesn't have to come to this? Right, so they can get started sooner or whatever, because this seems like that's the mayor's favorite word here, government-y, because you're going to come here and we go through this process, and depending when they do it, this, could take weeks or whatever. But I feel like something like this, and maybe you'd say no, like state legislature says you have to do that, I'm fine with it. Or if they want to do something outside of what we've already said, like when it fully fits what we've already said, this just feels like a roadblock. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they don't care, but if we can make sure we're doing stuff we can, I don't know. What value do we add to this is my, question.
Like just looking to expedite the process, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't ask for any changes to the agreement. Like they need everything. I agree with Councilmember Brown on this. Moving forward, obviously this does not affect this. Canceled.
And there could be a requirement, and I'm fine with that, but.
Well, Garrett's the telecoms expert, as I remember.
As far as I know, that there is no requirement per se. I mean, we could set something up. We could adjust our ordinance to allow that to be more of an administrative process. In other cities, some require this to be an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what we're hearing, we can make that adjustment to our franchise chapter to be able to make that happen. There may be times that for when we update these agreements, because this does have a pretty significant impact on Public Works and our city engineers' ability to do their jobs and whatnot. As we update this agreement, we may need to come back then and get your approval for kind of a new template, and then go from there.
And I would love that. Like anything that they want out of the ordinary, any changes. I just look at this. For me, I always review these in like a case by case scenario, and because we've already said yes to this thing, like unless there's like some crazy impact, which I wouldn't know unless Glenn or someone texted me or Garrett. Like, so if it's just part of our whatever, I want the city staff to, and I don't want to be the only one, but, Councilmember Robinson said that she sort of agreed, so maybe we can see if others do, and put it into an expedited project. But any sort of change at all, then it still comes back to us.
I would agree. There's no changes. I don't think it needs to come here.
Yep.
We're good.
I like to I just want development to move quicker when we want it to already, I guess,
We'll work on getting that put together.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Any other questions, comments from the council? Okay, there's a motion on the board for you.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2025 R15, authorizing the mayor to execute a telecommunications services franchise agreement with Zayo Group LLC.
Second?
Thank you.
Okay, motion and a second. Rory, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Robinson.
Aye.
Brown.
Yes.
Mikalash.
Yes.
Billings.
Yes.
And Glover.
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. We do have a closed session. I'm going to ask if we can close the session, then do maybe a 5-minute break, if that's okay. Last time we didn't close the session and we left open. the meeting until, is that, can we do that? Close it and then take a 5-minute break? Okay.
Can we just do a motion first?
Yeah, we do need the motion, and this would be, there are 2 items to be discussed in closed session. One is strategy sessions to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation, and C, strategy sessions to discuss the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to enter closed session for those 2 specified reasons. Rory, we call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Micklash.
Yes.
Billings.
Yes.
Brown, or excuse me, Glover.
Yes.
And Robinson.
Aye? It's
Yes.
me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, so we are technically now in closed session, so we ask if you are not part of that closed session to exit now, and we will take just a momentary recess.